Well, what does temperature do? Many reactions involve heat, either as a reactant or a product. They either absorb or release heat. So exothermic reaction releases heat into the surroundings. We can think of it as producing heat, as heat being a product, right? So if we raise the temperature of that exothermic reaction, that's like adding heat, which is one of the products. If you add something to the product side, it will shift to the reactant side. In an endothermic reaction, we can think of heat as being a reactant. I have to put heat energy in for this reaction to occur. So here, if we're raising the temperature, it's like adding heat to the reactant side, and it'll shift to the right, to the product side. So for an exothermic reaction, here we have A plus B making C and D, and heat. It's exothermic, it's releasing heat. So if we add heat, that's going to have the same effect as adding one of the products. It's going to shift away from that. If we remove heat, it's going to shift towards that to make more, trying to reestablish the balance, the equilibrium. Endothermic reaction, here we have heat as a reactant. This is a cool reaction. N2O4 is a colorless gas, and NO2 is a brown gas. And so you can actually cause a glass tube containing this mixture to change color by changing the temperature of it. So if we add heat, adding a reactant causes it to shift to the product side. If we remove heat, if we cool it down, it will shift to the reactant side. Here's a picture of that. So when this tube is warm, that's adding heat, that causes the equilibrium to shift over here. We see more of the brown NO2 at equilibrium. If we make this very, very cold, that's removing heat, that causes the reaction to shift towards the N2O4, which is colorless, and we see the color go away. I wish I could do this for you. We actually have a cool tube like this, but it takes like dry ice to get it cold enough. I don't happen to have any right now. Okay, so there's a summary, exothermic and endothermic reactions. Think of heat as a reactant or a product, and then it's going to behave the same way as if you were adding or removing reactant or product. So here we have SO2 plus O2 making 2SO3. And this is telling us the reaction is exothermic. An exothermic reaction gives off heat. So let's write heat into the equation. So heat will be one of the products. An exothermic reaction produces heat. So if we increase the temperature, if we add heat to this, which way will it shift? It will shift left, away from that. If we decrease the temperature, if we remove heat, it'll shift to the right to replace that. Any questions?